All right, so we're going to be exercising today with our pelvic floor in mind and utilizing physical therapy exercises and strategies to help our pelvic floor. Our pelvic floor needs to have strength. It also needs to have flexibility. And what those two things mean is we need to have the ability to tighten our pelvic floor and relax our pelvic floor. For a lot of us, our pelvic floor muscles are too tight, but we think that we need to do Kegels, so we just keep tightening it. And that could make pelvic floor symptoms even worse, like urinary urgency or even bowel urgency, frequency, etc. And so in that case, we actually want to focus more on relaxing our pelvic floor and loosening that. For other people, we have too low tone, and therefore we do want to strengthen. So I like to educate a bit on this because so often we hear the word Kegels and everyone assumes that everyone should be doing it. And for some people, those aren't actually appropriate, but more hip strengthening exercises are, or stretching the inner thigh muscles. So today we're going to be doing a combination of exercises that are all geared towards helping our pelvic floor. What that means is that ideally, your core muscles will feel stronger. Mobility can feel easier. Urinary symptoms should feel less over time. Even bowel symptoms should feel less over time. If you do want to know for your specific body, if you need to be focusing more on strengthening or more on the relaxation or equally on both, I would highly recommend that you see an in-person physical therapist who is a pelvic floor specialist. They're the ones who can really determine exactly what's going on for you. But let's go ahead and get started. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Gretchen. I'm a physical therapist near Buffalo, New York, and a multiple sclerosis certified specialist. So I'm going to scoot back and we'll get started. Right. Will I be in the center there? I feel like that should be good. Okay. All right, so I like to start off all of our exercises with cardio because it primes the brain for neuroplasticity, meaning that we're even more likely to strengthen the connection between our brain and our muscles. So go ahead and sit up tall. You can shake everything out, just get nice and loose. And when you're ready, come up to your tallest posture, close the hands. You don't have to squeeze, just close and go ahead and swing those arms. And again, this is for cardio. So the goal is to get your heart rate up. So maybe go a little bit faster than what feels normal and comfortable for you. For our exercises today, we have, I believe, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, six exercises. We're going to do 2 rounds of them. If you're short on time, you can always just do 1 round and stop there. And then in the future, if you're watching this recording, you could do the whole thing, or again, just 1 round, or pick the exercises that felt best to you and just do 1 or 2 here and there. Keep going as fast as you can. And we're going to do our 5 fastest seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down. And then stop and shake everything out. The next one is our forward punches. As soon as you're ready, go ahead and punch forward. And again, the goal is heart rate. Get that heart rate up. So maybe go faster. Maybe add more motion or power. Really punch in front of you as hard as you can. Whatever you gotta do, get that heart rate up. We're gonna end with our 5 faster seconds, not just yet, just letting you know that it's coming. In 3, 2, 1, go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down. And shake out those arms. Our last one to get our heart rate going just a little bit more before we focus on our pelvic floor is our rolling punches. So close those hands again and roll away from you. You want to keep your fists away from your belly so that you're not hitting yourself. If your coordination is lacking today and you're just hitting your hands, just open your hands and it's the same thing. There's some days where I have to do this option. Other days, today's a pretty good day. I'm not hitting myself. Keep going fast, 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 fast. And when you're ready, reverse. Other direction, and then pick up the speed. This one might have different coordination. Maybe you have to open your hands for this one, but go, 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 go as fast as you can. We're not gonna go faster. You're just going as fast as you can the whole time. 3, 2, 1. Holy cow, my arms are burning. Slow down and stop there and shake everything out. All right, moving right into our pelvic floor exercises. So our pelvic floor is basically where a lot of muscles attach, a lot of muscles from our outer hips, our inner hips, and our core. And it has a lot to do with our breath work. So our very first exercise, we're going to do belly breathing with a long exhale. So I'm actually going to show you from the side what this looks like. So we're all going to be relaxing towards the back of our chair. I'm just going to put my hair back during this. Okay. So we're all going to be towards the back of our chair relaxing. And we're going to inhale through our nose. And as we inhale, our belly is going to puff out. It's opposite of what feels normal. So when we inhale, our belly comes out. And then when we exhale, our belly comes in. So again, inhale, belly comes out. Exhale, belly comes in. I'll do one more demonstration one. Inhale. Exhale. Now, when we exhale, we're really gonna exhale. And when you exhale as much as you can, you should feel your belly muscles engage or tighten towards the end of the exhale. So what that's gonna look like is this. And I'm gonna put my hands on my belly. I like to put them here for the belly breathing because when I inhale, my fingers should come slightly apart because my belly is expanding. And when I exhale, they should come back in. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale and belly comes out. Exhale and keep exhaling. Right at the end there, when you can't exhale anymore, that's when you should feel your belly muscles engage. We're going to do 6 more of these. Go ahead and inhale and exhale. When you're ready, keep going. You might be exhaling longer than me or shorter than me. Do what feels comfortable to you. You should never be feeling lightheaded. I'm going to go ahead and inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And relax. Now, if that's the first time you've ever done belly breathing, that may have felt really challenging and confusing. Keep practicing. It does feel odd. It feels opposite of what we normally do in the way we normally breathe. Now, this next exercise might be a bit tricky because you can't see what I'm doing. We have to go based on what it should feel like. So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten our pelvic floor and then relax our pelvic floor. So watch this hand. This hand is going to mimic what my pelvic floor is doing. So we're going to essentially do a Kegel exercise where we're going to lift our pelvic floor, squeeze, 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 and then equally as important is relaxing fully. So once we've lifted and held, we're going to lower and relax our pelvic floor. completely relax. This is where a lot of people have trouble, and we just keep tension all the time in our pelvic floor. So we're going to inhale, lift, 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 lift that pelvic floor. And by pelvic floor, what I mean is if you put your hand and you sit on it, for all of us, female, male, if you sit on your hand, that's your pelvic floor. That whole area from front to back, we're trying to lift, hold, and then lower all the way. Okay, let's do it again. Lift, squeeze, 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 and lower. I often have to look down. This requires a lot of concentration and focus. Lift, squeeze, and lower. Lift and lower. A pelvic floor physical therapist once explained it to me as trying to lift a blueberry up off of the chair and then slowly put the blueberry back down. And lift and lower. Lift and lower. Again, this might be really challenging. You might not be feeling anything at all. If that's the case, that's okay. With a lot of these exercises, as long as you know what the intention is and you're trying to do that exercise, do that movement so that you feel that movement, even if you're not feeling it over time, you will likely start feeling it. It might take 4 weeks, but eventually your body will start activating those muscles. One more. Lift and lower. Fully, fully, fully. And relax. That is likely hard work if you've never done it before. The next exercise that we're going to do is a hip strengthening exercise. Oftentimes, if we have weak hip muscles, outer hips and inner hips, it makes our pelvic floor either weaker or tighter because it's trying to overcompensate for the weakness in our hips. So we're going to sit towards the edge of our chair with our feet touching and our knees touching, and you're sitting up in your best posture. Now from here, you're going to open your knees as wide as you can. I should have worn different pant colors so you can see my legs a little bit better from the chair, but you're going to open as wide as you can without your feet rolling or moving away from one another. So open, 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 but don't let those feet move. And as wide as you can at the very end, once you can't go any further, if you haven't already, squeeze your glute muscles, squeeze those butt muscles, hold, and then relax the glute muscles and close. If you did that one with me, that was a bonus one. Now we're all going to do it. Open as wide as you can. You might be able to open wider than me or not as wide, doesn't matter. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze these muscles. Relax and close. Open and squeeze. Relax and close. This is another exercise where frequently people tell me that they're trying to squeeze, but they feel nothing happening. But eventually, after a few weeks of doing it, or for some people, after a few times of doing it, they do start feeling these muscles squeeze and tighten again. We just need to wake them up. You might not have used these muscles in several years, at least not intentionally. So we gotta wake them up, intentionally squeeze those glutes, even if you don't feel anything happening. Close, open, squeeze, relax, and close. 2 more. Open, squeeze, relax, and close. Last one. Open and squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. Hold, hold, hold. We're going to hold even longer. Keep holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax and close. And then you can just relax completely. Shake your legs out if you need to. For this next exercise, we're going to shift our hips. Our hips can get very tight especially with MS, because it's trying to protect us. So if our hips are tight, our pelvic floor often is not going to be working as optimally as it should. So we're going to loosen up our hips now. And what that looks like is stay sitting towards the edge of your chair. Your feet are about hip distance apart, and you're going to try to shift your right knee forward so that it goes further forward than your left knee. And then bring your right knee back and your left knee goes forward. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what this looks like from the side as well. And I should have worn different colored pants, but I think you'll still be able to see. Okay, my right knee. I'm going to shift my right knee forward and my left knee back. And then the opposite, I'm going to shift my left knee forward and my right knee back. You will be moving your upper body just a little bit. You shouldn't excessively be tipping or leaning in any one direction. And switch. We're trying to loosen up our hip muscles. And switch. So again, these are the differences in my knees right now. Switch. It's normal to feel like you can get one further forward than the other. Very rarely are we symmetrical beings. Switch. You don't have to have your hands here. I just want to try to do my best to show you how they're moving. And switch. And switch. Fun fact, you can do this exercise while you are sitting on the toilet if you are having trouble fully emptying, or if you need to get your stream going. This is something that you can do to relax your pelvic floor and get it to release and fully empty. Switch. And switch. One more each side. Switch. And switch. And relax. All right, we're just going to take a quick break here and loosen up those hip muscles even further. Grab one leg, doesn't matter which one. I'm grabbing my left leg and I'm putting it on my right lower thigh. And from here, I'm going to sit up tall. If you have tight hip muscles like me, you will already feel a stretch, but you can hinge forward to increase the stretch. And we're just trying to feel that stretch in the outer hip, maybe even the outer thigh. Those were 2 hip exercises back to back. And so we just want to loosen those up before we move on. When you're ready, if you are hinging, stop hinging, lower, and grab the other side. If this is too challenging of a stretch, instead of lifting your leg up like this, you can try to cross your leg down lower and do the same thing with your upper body. Either one will work. Okay, when you're ready, stop hinging, lower or uncross that leg. Moving on to our next exercise, which is heel raises. So what you're going to do is bend your knees a little bit further. Try not to use your hands if possible, but if you need to, you can help your legs bend a bit more by using your hands. And now you're going to lift your heels up as high as you can and then lower them down. And lift and lower. Fun fact, the nerves that make our calf muscles work are the same nerves that make our pelvic floor work. So if you're tightening your calf muscles like we are right now, when you lift, you're tightening those muscles, you're also going to tighten your pelvic floor. And so if you are sitting on the toilet and you really want to relax your pelvic floor to maybe urinate or to have a bowel movement, but your heels are up, it's counterintuitive, counterproductive, where you're actually tightening your pelvic floor. We want to lower our heels to relax the pelvic floor and let everything flow. But If you are sitting at a table at a restaurant and you really need to go, but you don't want to go right at that table, you could do some heel raises to tighten your pelvic floor and try to reduce any leaking that might happen. It might also give you some more time to get to the bathroom because you're tightening the pelvic floor. You're telling your brain to turn off the relaxation muscles while you're making your way to your bathroom. 2 more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. We've got one more exercise and then we're going to repeat these. So next exercise is going to be an inner thigh stretch. I'm going to face you for this one. Our inner thigh muscles attach at our pelvic floor, and often if these muscles are tight, it's going to make our pelvic floor muscles tight as well. And when you're walking, it can make you walk with this scissor gait where you put your leg in front of the other, and it can make you even more wobbly and unsteady. So what we're going to do is open your feet and knees as wide as you can. It's going to be different for all of us. And once you're there, you're going to lean forward. Once you're leaning forward, you're going to turn towards your left side, and with your right hand, push your right inner thigh open. So you might feel a stretch in both sides, but you're pushing your right knee open. You should mostly feel that stretch in the inner right thigh, inner right groin, somewhere over in that direction. And keep breathing. And when you're ready, come back to the center, shake your wrists out. We're gonna do the same thing, but just go over to the other side. So you're gonna hinge forward and then turn towards the right side. Your left hand pushes your left inner thigh open. And hopefully you feel this stretch somewhere on the inner thigh of the left side or the right inner groin, maybe your pelvic floor directly. And keep breathing. Ready? Go back to the center and shake those hands out. All right, we did one round. Go ahead and give yourself a round of applause. We're gonna relax for a second here and then go into our second round. Again, if that was enough for you, you can stop there. But this second round, you can either do the same way that we did the first round, or you can make it one level harder by activating our pelvic floor with every single exercise. So I will explain how to do that. If that feels too tricky, don't worry about it. Maybe try that in a month from now. But if it feels accessible to you today, then you can go ahead and give it a try. So our first exercise, let's all sit back. We can relax with our good posture towards the back of our chair. And we're doing our belly breathing again. So we're breathing in through our nose and our belly expands. And then as we exhale, our belly comes in. And we long exhale. The longer you exhale, the more you'll feel your belly muscles engage at the end. Now we're going to combine this with our second exercise, which was inhale through your nose, and that's when your pelvic floor is relaxing. And then as you exhale, you tighten your pelvic floor. Inhale, exhale. If that's too tricky for you to do both at the same time, don't worry about your pelvic floor. Just focus on the breath work. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And relax. We're going to move on to our second exercise, which was just the pelvic floor lifting and lowering. If you added the pelvic floor lifting and lowering with the breathing, great job. Now you get to do it again. If you didn't the first time, that's okay. Now you get to do it. So for this one, you can stay relaxing towards the back of your chair with a good posture. And you're focusing on those muscles that when you put your hand under you that you sit on, those are the muscles we're trying to engage. Think about lifting those muscles away from your hand and then lowering them completely if possible. When you're doing that, we're going to breathe in as you lift. You don't have to worry about the belly breathing, breathe in as you're relaxing and out as you're lifting. So if we start with the lift, so everyone relax their pelvic floors right now. Loose, relax, down. Okay, now we're going to breathe out and lift our pelvic floor. And breathe in, lower, exhale and lift. Breathe in and exhale and lift. Breathe in and lower, exhale, lift. Again, if the breathing's too hard, just lower the pelvic floor and lift the pelvic floor. Lower. Got to pause at the end of each movement and lift. Lower and lift. 3 more. Lower. Lift is when you're exhaling. Lower is when you inhale. Lift. Lower. Lift. 1 more. Lower. And lift. And relax. That can be cognitively fatiguing, both those 2 exercises, the belly breathing and the lift and lower. If you haven't done that mentally right now, you might be done for. You might feel like, whoa, that was a lot to think about. Hopefully these next ones won't be too tricky. Moving on right to our clamshell. So we're towards the edge of our chair. Our feet are together, knees are together, sitting up tall. Open your knees as wide as you can while your feet stay touching. Squeeze those glutes and then relax the glutes and lower. If you want, you can just do exactly this. This is the same way that we did the exercise the first time around. If you want to make it more challenging, then when you open your knees, that's when you're squeezing your pelvic floor. And when you relax your legs and close, you're relaxing and lowering your pelvic floor. Open and lift. Relax and lower. Open, squeeze, lift. Relax and lower. If it's too hard doing both at the same time, just do what the legs are doing. But if you're up for the challenge, then you can add the pelvic floor to it. Open and lift, everything squeezes. And relax and lower. Open, lift. Relax and lower. 3 more. Open, lift. Again, I'm noticing I'm looking down at the ground. It's because this takes a lot of concentration. 2 more. Open and lift. Squeeze those glutes, squeeze the butt muscles as much as you can. Relax and lower. Last one, open and lift, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax and lower. Shake everything out if you need to. And the next exercise that we're doing is our shifting with 1 leg forward, 1 leg back. We're not going to tighten and lift and lower during this exercise. We're just going to focus on getting everything looser. So again, you're trying to get one knee forward by shifting your hips, and then we're going to shift to the other side. So your upper body will move a little, and your torso, your hips will shift, but it shouldn't be anything excessive, and you shouldn't be massively tipping to one side or the other. It should mostly just look like this. So when you're ready, shift your right knee forward. Hold, hold, hold. Keep everything relaxed. Lower your pelvic floor. Bring that right knee back and left knee comes forward. Relax the pelvic floor. Sometimes when we're moving in this way, we tighten the pelvic floor. Relax. Come back to the center. Right knee comes forward. Relax the pelvic floor. Shift back. Left knee comes forward. Once you're there, relax. Lower that pelvic floor. Come back to the center and switch your other knee. So right knee goes forward. If you look down, hopefully what you're seeing is that your right knee is further forward than your left knee. You likely cannot see your right foot, but you can see your left. Now switch, and it's the opposite. Your left knee is further forward. You cannot see that foot. Your right knee is further back. You can see the right foot. And switch. 2 more each side. Hold, 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 relax, lower the pelvic floor if possible, and switch. Hold and relax the pelvic floor. Switch, last one on this side. Once you're there, relax everything. And switch the other side, relax everything. And remember, this is one that you can do while you're sitting on the toilet. You need to get things going or fully empty. And relax. Quick stretch here for our outer hip muscles. If you want to do the full version, you can grab your leg, place it on your opposite lower thigh, sit up tall and hinge forward. If it's too tricky to get your leg up here, you can just cross your leg and it's the same thing. Either way, you should be feeling some stretch, even if it's light, on the outside of your hip or outside of your thigh. Just stay here. When you're ready, if you are hinging forward, stop hinging, come back to the center, lower that leg or uncross that leg, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Cross that leg or lift it, sit up tall, hinge forward. Hopefully you feel it somewhere on the outside of that hip or thigh. And keep breathing. Our pelvic floor should be relaxed as we're doing this. And come back to the center. Lower that down. 2 final exercises. So the next one is our heel raises. So we're sitting towards the edge of our chair and we're going to lift our heels up as high as we can. If it's too challenging for you to do both legs at the same time, you can just do one leg and then the other. If you want to add in the pelvic floor with this one, when you lift your heels, you're lifting your pelvic floor. When you lower your heels, you're relaxing your pelvic floor. So when you're ready, go ahead and lift and lower and fully relax. Once your heels hit the ground, our whole body should just be relaxed. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the heels, lower the heels, lower the pelvic floor. Lift, pause, lower, lift, pause, lower, lift, pause, and lower, lift, and lower, lift, and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. Let's do one more. Lift and lower and relax. Shake everything out. Last exercise is our inner thigh stretch. So again, you're going to open your knees and your feet. The reason why I say both is because if we don't focus on opening our knees too, we might notice this knee kissing happening. We want our feet to be wide and our knees to be wide. If that's really hard for you, then it might mean that your feet are too wide. Scoot your feet in a little further and you might find that that's easier. So feet and knees are open as wide as you can get them. Sit up tall, hinge forward, turn towards the left. Your right hand pushes the right inner thigh open. And hopefully you're feeling that stretch in your inner thigh or inner groin on that right side. Keep breathing. Keep the pelvic floor relaxed. Ready? Come back to the center, shake your wrists out if you need to. We're going to do the same thing, but going over to the other side. Lean forward, turn towards the right. Left hand pushes the left inner thigh out. And hopefully you feel that stretch more on the inner left thigh or inner left groin area. When you're ready, come back to the center. Back up, shake your hands out. Bring your legs back to wherever it feels comfortable to you. And you've completed class today. Amazing job. Again, if this is your first time ever or first time in a while doing pelvic floor work, a lot of this might have felt discouraging because you didn't feel it where I was mentioning you should be feeling it. But it is not uncommon for it to take several times of practicing these. And for some people, myself included, when I first learned these exercises, to take up to 5-6 weeks before you really feel like you know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, I think that's what she meant when she said to lift the pelvic floor. Or that's what she meant when she said to lower the pelvic floor. So keep practicing. You don't have to feel these exercises working the first time in order to actually be making a difference. You are making a difference just by attempting these exercises. Eventually the muscles will start to get the hang of what you're trying to do and they'll start working for you. But great job. Try this recording again and again to get better at them and enjoy.